What if the real problem in education isn't just attention, but what we are teaching students to pay attention to? We often describe classrooms as places where students are distracted, disengaged, or unwilling to focus. Teachers are overwhelmed, students are frustrated, and learning feels harder than it should be. But underneath all of that is a deeper issue. Many students are never actually taught how to think critically in the first place. We teach math, reading, writing, and science, and those are essential, but we often treat philosophy and ethics as optional or secondary. Yet, philosophy is where critical thinking begins. It forces students to slow down and ask, what is true? What is evidence? What is assumption? Without that foundation, students can memorize information, but they struggle to evaluate it or think independently about it. Ethics builds on this by teaching responsibility and consequence, not just what is the answer, but what should be done and why. And that kind of thinking naturally strengthens attention because it requires focus, reflection, and patience instead of quick reaction. Across history, philosophical and ethical traditions, from classical thinkers like Socrates and Aristotle to texts like the Bible, studied in a philosophical way, share a common purpose. They train the mind to engage with complexity, not avoid it. They require interpretation, reasoning, and reflection. That process is what builds real attention. Attention is not just discipline, it is trained curiosity. It is the ability to stay engaged with something difficult long enough to understand it deeply. Philosophy teaches that directly. If students were constantly exposed to structured ethical debates, logical reasoning, and philosophical analysis across different traditions, they would develop stronger ways of thinking. They would become less reactive, more reflective, and more capable of focus, not because they are forced to pay attention, but because they know how to engage with ideas. And this is not about replacing core subjects, it is about strengthening the foundation underneath all learning. Philosophy and ethics function like cognitive infrastructure. They support how students think across every subject. Attention in school is like baseball. You don't really play or watch the game because you are forced to. You do it because you want to be there. In the same way, students only give real attention when learning feels like a choice and an invitation, not an obligation. You can't force engagement. You can only create the field where they want to step in and play. And that's where the "if you build it, they will come" metaphor from that baseball movie comes into play here. So if you build it, they will come.